Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. For those of you that are new here, I do have a special needs child, so him in the background clapping his hands and making noise. He's jealous of anyone or anything that takes my time from him. That being said, today we are going to have a 10 looks, one palette. I actually finished today with 9 looks, and I was like, 9? That's not right. So I'm going to add in a 10th look with this. So really there will be 11 looks on my channel with this Natasha denona Metropolis palette. This is a very interesting palette, to say the least. I have even dropped this palette, and I had to try to figure out where all the shades went. So yeah, you could see this palette gets a lot of love from me. I've been using it quite a bit. I'm enjoying playing with it. I have a few pros and a few cons with this palette. So if you want to hear my thoughts on this palette and see my idea of 10 looks with this palette, then just keep on watching and we'll get into the tutorial slash final thoughts on this palette. Okay, so look number 1, I'm starting out with the shade Ripe in my crease, and I'm just working that through. Next, I'm moving on to the shade called Rhizome, and I'm using that in the front part and to buff out that first shade Ripe. And now I'm going into Imperia, and I'm just going to put that on my first portion of this eye look, and then dipping into Jubilee. Such a pretty shade. I love this shade. I'm just putting that on the outer portion. Then I'm using my finger because I wanted to intensify it, and of course buff everything together. And for the lower lash line, I am going into the shade Ripe again, working that down through my lower lash line, and of course buffing it out with the shade called Rhizome. I hope I'm saying that right. And as you'll see with most of these looks, I'm putting Queen in my inner corner and on the brow bone. And Melt 420 for my waterline, my Big Ego mascara. And yeah, that's look number 1, all complete. Alright, number 2, I'm starting out with Rope all through my crease as my transition shade. And then I'm going to move into the darker of those blues called Enigma. And I'm going to deepen up my outer V and slightly bring it through the crease. Ended up getting more intense than I thought it was going to, so I decided to go with a halo type eye. Then I'm just making sure everything's buffed out with that Rope shade. Now I'm going in with Symbol, and I was thinking this was gonna darken it up, but I realized just how similar these shades were when I was using them. Now I'm going to take Aquarius, and I'm going to put it on the inner and outer portions of this eye look. And with my finger, I'm going in with Penny. Such a stunning shade. I absolutely thought this was beautiful. I really enjoyed this look once it was done. And just buffing everything out. Starting with the lower lash line, I'm just going to kind of mimic those shades I have on the top, as you'll see. Buffing it out with that Rope shade. So stunning. Now, of course, Queen for my inner corner and brow bone once again. Absolutely stunning. Urban Decay Goddess in my waterline and my Big Ego mascara. And that's look number 2, all complete. Look number 3, I'm going to start out with the shade Royal, and I'm going to put that on the first half of my crease, and then I'm going to take and put Symbol on the second half. I wanted to see if I separated these, how they would look on the eye. So that's where I was going with this look. And yeah, you can see some differences, but not a whole lot. Just gonna blend those out with the shade called Rhizome. And then I'm going in to those same 2 shades and putting them on the lower lash line. Flat shader brush, I'm gonna dip in the shade called Blaze, and I'm gonna put Blaze on the first half or so, and then I'm dipping into Rust and putting that on the outer portion, just going back and forth till they're the way I like them. Clean blending brush to blend everything out. Space Dust in my waterline, Big Ego mascara, and for this look I actually used Orium for my inner corner, and then Queen, I did highlight my brow bone with Queen. And yeah, that's the look. Look number 4, we're going to start out with a shade called Chrism and work that through the crease. This is a very, very smooth shade. Almost all these shades blended quite beautifully. Then we're going to go into Stain, and we're going to just start deepening up that outer V and that crease just a little bit more. And you can see really how similar these shades actually look. Flat brush into Helena, and you'll see I decided to use my finger because, oh no, I sprayed this one. Okay, it definitely was not coming out as vibrant as I was hoping. Brushing that off and dipping into Jubilee for the second portion of this. I went in with my finger for this one. This was the one I was like, okay, I'm going to just use that to deepen this up. Buffing and meshing everything together, I'm going to go to the lower lash line and start out with the shade Chrism. And then I'm going to use that Jubilee shade right along the lower lash line. I thought it would add a little something something to this eye look. And go back and rebuff it out. Ico eyeliner, Big Ego mascara, Perversion eyeliner in my waterline, and yeah, that's this look number 4. Are you guys having fun yet? I'm actually having fun with these. Number 5. I'm going to start out with Pure in my crease, and yeah, I gotta say, this cream to powder formula was getting me at first, but I think I got it down, how to work with it. Now I'm just going to dip into that darker brown Antique and deepen up that outer V and put it through the crease just a little. And I was actually, with most of these looks, I had no clue where I was going with them, but I just went with it. So Queen in the first half of that lid, and of course then I remembered to use the Queen on the brow bone in the inner corner of the other look. But then I'm going into the shade called Claret and putting that on the second portion of that eye look. Finger, of course, makes it more intense, and that was what I was definitely going for. And now I'm going to take some of that Claret and work it along my lower lash line. So, so beautiful. I like this shade. It's not quite Wiggly's stunning, but it's pretty beautiful. So I enjoyed using this shade, and I enjoyed creating looks with it. And just to intensify it a little more, after I buffed it out with that pure shade, I went back in and re-intensified, queen on the inner corner, and brow bone again. I told you guys, it's perfect. And Ico eyeliner, Big Ego mascara, and Honey Dude by ColourPop. And that is look number 5, all complete. Let's go to number 6. For number 6, I'm going to start out with Azoic. And I'm going to start working that on my outer V and into my crease. This has more of a greenish undertone. Then I went in with a shade called Royal for the inner half of this eye look. I thought that would be interesting and different. And it turns out when I watched other reviews, it's not much different from what other people are doing, but I thought it was at the time. Now, dipping into the shade called Noble, I'm going to put that on the first part of my mobile lid. I pretty much ended up putting it across it all, but I'm going to go back in with Shield with my finger and add a little something something right to the center of this eye look. And I thought that looked pretty nice. And I used my Ico eyeliner for all of these looks to make it easier. I did get some fallout and have to dust it off, but anyway, who's counting? Now I'm going back in and I'm going to take that Azoic shade and buff along my lower lash line. Just to match it with the top as per usual, we are going back in with Royal. Guess you guys probably could have guessed that. I hope you're enjoying this. Oh, Space Dust in the waterline, Queen in the inner corner, Big Ego mascara. But anyway, what I was saying, I hope you guys are enjoying these so far. And yeah, let's move on to look number 7. And for look number 7, I start out with Rope in the Crease. Seems to be quite a good crease shade. I went in with it several times. And then we're going to go in with Ripe. And we're going to put that on the inner and outer portions of this eye look. You know I like these style looks. I think they're quite beautiful. Now we are going to go in with a flat brush into the shade called Crest. And we're going to work Crest on the inner and outer corner. And then I'm dipping into Helena. I did drop my palette in this portion, so I ended up having to put it all back together. But then again, I realized I need to use my finger for those red and orange shimmers. They come out so much more vibrant and stunning and add so much more to the look, even though they are quite similar. Buffing everything together so it looks seamless. I'm going to go into a little bit of that shade again and tap it on. Ico eyeliner once again. And the lower lash line, we are going to put Chrism and buff it along there. I thought that looked really nice. A little bit of Ripe to add some more dimension because I thought it needed a little bit more. Now, of course, Queen in the inner corner and the brow bone. You could have guessed it. I know. But yeah, when it works, don't fix it when it's not broke. Big Ego mascara, Honeydew in my waterline, and that is look number 7. What do you guys think? I really liked this one as well. Moving on to number 8, we're going to start out with, you guessed it, Rope once again. But I really think this is perfect for doing that crease. Now we're going to dip into a little bit of Pure And we're going to deepen up that outer V and work it into the crease. Really like these shades. Even though they're similar, they do create depth, I guess. But yeah, why so many of the same colors? Going in with Antique to further deepen up that outer V. And this is one of my favorite shades. I'm going to buff all that out with that first blending brush I used. Then I cut my crease, a little half cut crease situation. And I'm going to dip into Queen. And I'm going to put that all over that cut crease area. As you can see, I sprayed it to get the full effect of it. And then I'm taking Mace and putting that in just a little bit of the outer portion, just for a little something something. Ico eyeliner, and I believe I ended up using, oh, I can't remember actually what I put in the waterline, but I am putting Antique with that angled brush and buffing it out with a mixture of rhizome and rope. And I do believe in my waterline I ended up with Lannister's Gold, but I'm not sure. Queen in the inner corner and dragging it down the lower lash line just a little, highlighting the brow bone. And nope, I ended up with Perversion from Urban Decay. I love that nice black with this. I forgot about that. But yeah, I liked the way this eye look came out quite a bit. Let's move on to number 9 and dipping into that lethal shade. I'm going to work that all through my crease and just buff it out. And yes, I love this shade. Then we're going to go into some Symbol and just add a little bit of something something. Make it poppin'. I like this shade too. I do like all these shades in this palette, even though a couple of them, that cream to powder formula, definitely. Okay, now I'm taking Noble and putting that on the outer portion of my mobile lid, buffing it around with that Symbol shade. Now I'm going to dip into some Jubilee and put it on the front part. And taking my finger back into that Noble shade just to intensify it. And I put Orium in my inner corner for this look, actually. I ended up putting Queen on the brow bone, but I did want that Orium on the inner corner. Ico eyeliner, and then with a flat brush, I'm just buffing that Jubilee shade, and then I'm putting um, that green shade. Anyway, now I put the Lannister's Gold in my waterline and my Big Ego mascara. Sorry, this is my first voiceover, so it's not going to be perfect. Number 10. I'm going to start out with that Ripe shade, and I'm just going to put this on the outer V area. And then I'm going to go in with Enigma, and I'm going to put that on the middle portion of this eye look. And just make sure they buff together. Now I'm taking that Rhizome shade and buffing that into the inner corner. And I was trying to make it a little more vibrant, so I ended up trying to dip into a little bit of rope, but it didn't still come out to the color I wanted it. So we just rode with it and decided we were going to make it work, and that's what I did. Now I'm going to dip into Helena, and I'm just going to put that with my finger, of course, because it works best with a finger in the orange part, and then Aquarius in the middle, and Imperial will go on the very inner corner here in just a sec. And of course, that one picks up on a brush just fine. You can see how beautiful and vibrant that shade is. And then just making sure everything is seamless and blended. Clean blending brush over everything. And Ico eyeliner on my upper lash line. Now I'm just going to mimic the same thing I did on top with those mattes on the bottom. And yeah, I thought this was fun and exciting, so that's why I went with this type of deal for this last look. And it's not easy to come up with 10 looks. I gotta say, this was challenging for me. But I feel like I did an alright job using Queen to highlight my brow bone and then my perversion in my waterline and I Big Ego mascara. That is these 10 looks. I hope you enjoyed it, guys. Okay guys, this is the day before I filmed my final look with this palette because I realized I did 9 looks and I can't handle that, so I added a 10th one in. So that very last look you've seen was my 10th look with this palette, which is like my 11th look, but who's counting? Anyway, thoughts on the palette. It took me a little bit, I'm not gonna lie, to learn to work with these cream to powder formulas that are throughout this palette. This duochrome is absolutely beautiful. I love this shade. This has, you'll see him, yeah, I'm sure you saw in the videos that this has like become my staple inner corner, but it looks beautiful on the lid, as you can see. Disappointments about this palette would have to be the similarities in a lot of these colors, and I will show you a perfect example are the 2 blues in this palette. If you look at the 2 blues, they are extremely similar. Do I think they needed both in this palette? Absolutely not, because I can't tell a difference when I put them on my eyes. Next would probably be all 3 of these right here. Swatched together, you can see there are some similarities, but like especially with these 2, I mean, that's a little too similar for $130 to me. This is my first Natasha Denona palette, so other than the mini that I have in the Tropic. Moving on to the shimmers, I will just swatch every one of the goldy, coppery type shimmers, and we'll take a look at them right down the row. I mean, you almost can't tell a difference. It's disappointing. And then we'll swatch these two right here, and we'll throw the red in there just for good measure. But the red is different, so yeah, the red's gonna be the last one. While they look a lot different, when I did the one eye look, you could see on the eyes, these 2 here, I mean, they just looked so similar. I mean, was it necessary? I don't know. The blues are different enough that I could see the blues. The one looks blue and one looks green to me. So those are definitely justifiable to me, in my opinion. And then again, when you move on to these 2 browns down here, while one is deeper than the other, they're both that cream formula, and I'm having trouble, as you can see, I have trouble making them stand out different from each other. We'll swatch the greens in the palette just because we have picked on every other color in this palette. And why not add these to the list? These are the greens. While they look very, very different, like these two on the eyes, not that different. And I mean, for $130, I want variety. So, yeah. It's a love-hate with this palette. I love the looks I create with this. I love the formulas. In it. I love the looks. I don't like that I paid $130 to have so many similar shades. UPS is here. So anyway, like I said, the formula works amazingly. I love the eye looks that I do create with this palette, and I use this palette a lot on the regular. So I will get plenty of use out of it. It was just like I said, it was a little disappointing to have so many similar shades. Well, not those two, but so many similar shades out of, you know what I mean? That's a lot of money. So I'm gonna leave it up to you how you feel about that, and yeah, let me know what look was your favorite. I'd love to know which one was your favorite. Have you picked this palette up? Do you intend to pick it up? Definitely, before you do pick it up, watch plenty of reviews because everyone kind of has a different take on it. And yeah, that's going to do it for another Trace Tries Tutorials. I hope you guys are having a wonderful night or day wherever you are. If you're new to my channel and just watching a video for the first time, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you'll subscribe and stick around. To everyone who has been here, of course, you know, thank you so much for watching my video. And yeah, we'll see you on the next Teresa Tries Tutorials. Bye, guys.